Assalamu alaikum, viewers. Welcome to Special Child Care, and I would like to welcome to Special Child Care's today's meeting. This is me, Saeed Ahmed, and today we are going to talk about a very important issue, very important topic that many parents of special needs children suffer, and they very frequently they complain about the eating habit of their children and food acceptance. So we're going to talk about food acceptance today and how we can help our children eat like variety kind of foods and how can we help them. So I don't know much about it. Actually, I'm also a parent, and today we have with us Mr. Alexander Tarasov from London. He is a board certified ABA therapy consultant. Alexander, I would like to welcome you to Special Child Care.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah, I didn't tell you a lot about you because I'm not an expert, and I thought I might make mistake if I say that all the technical terms are like this. So I would like to request you to say something about you. I mean yourself. It means like your affiliation and your work and your education. Then we can go to our topic.
Yeah, my name is Alexandru Tarasov. Yeah, you can call me Alex. It's easier. Cool. I'm working with children with autism since 2004 now. It's almost 16, 17 years. So I worked with children that are 1 year old and with children of 16, 17 years old. So I'm mostly specialized, with children with autism and with programs that are focused on cognitive development, feeding problems, sleeping problems, teaching children to accept transitions in different places, in the school, in the community. So let's say the biggest goal that I have is to make children and parents to live in peace with each other, let's say, to be able to live with each other. Because, and let's say the principle of working is when you work even with a child that is 1 year old, think how he will be when he will be 20 years old. So that's why all the interventions that we do, we start already when the child is 1 year old, even if, So, I like this job. From my experience, we have very good positive results in working with children with autism. Maybe we are not treating autism, but we are teaching children some behaviors. Even teaching the child to accept new food is a behavior. It's a behavior that was learned in their life. And because of the consequences that we give. I think you had already few sessions about ABA. Even today we will try to, let's say, to touch some topics, some principles, how it works, about reinforcement, about extinction, because these are the most important principles that we use, especially with feeding problems.
Yeah, actually, I mean, the problems you discussed, I mean, mentioned right now, I mean, feeding problems, sleeping disorders, and other, problem behaviors. These are the big challenges for us, like parents, dealing with special needs children. So let's go straight to our topic today. I mean, food acceptance, as I said, though I put it in a little different way when I made the poster, basically in Bengali for our audience. So whatever I put it over there, if I translate that into English exactly, it comes like, how to feed your special needs children, right? I know this is not exactly the same the translation of food acceptance, maybe, but that was like more, communicable to the parents. Now, if you go to the topic, today's topic, food acceptance, how do you describe this, explain this topic from your point of view?
Let's say this is an easy and not an easy topic to discuss and to do. And usually when we start to work with children, we have to make a plan. how to work, what are the steps. Yeah, even today we will discuss like general, I will tell you about the general information, about general strategies that can be applied, but this is not a, how to say, it's not a cure for what it happens, because every child is very different, and every child lives in a different environment with different parents, so with different history of learning. So that's why it's, yeah, at the same time, it's easy what I'm saying from my point of view, but it's not easy from parents' point of view. Also, I think there is a big problem in nowadays, and this problem is that people think that this food acceptance, it's just a problem specific to children with autism, but it's not true. Even, let's say, let's call typical children that don't have ASD symptoms, they have food selectivity. And I think this is because of uh, opportunities and choices that children have in nowadays. So if to think what was 50 years ago or 100 years ago, children didn't have a big choice of food. So food selectivity wasn't such a big problem. But now, because we have in our fridge 100 types of food, there's a big choice of food. So this is our main problem now. We have a choice, and the choice is too big, let's say. Yeah. But in generally speaking, about 90% of children with autism have problems related to feeding. And about 70% of children presenting food selectivity problems. And the selectivity can be based on the type of the food, like they eat just pasta, they eat just French fries, or only rice, or only they don't eat fruits and only vegetables, and vice versa. Some children will choose not to eat food that is white or is just yellow. They will have selectivity based on the color. So I found some children then they had selectivity based on the brand. For example, they will accept just biscuits made by McVitie's or any other type of brand. Also, texture, it's a type of selectivity that is very frequent, like they will eat only blended food, or they will refuse liquid food, yeah, and they will eat only solid food. There are some children there, like I've met, like even 6, 7 years old children, they will eat only liquid food. Yeah, not other, yeah, like milk and mixed with some vitamins and all proteins that they need to have on a daily basis. Also, the temperature can be an issue, and children will choose to eat only hot or only cold food. Smell can be an issue, and of course could be a combined type of criteria of selectivity. So I've met a child who will choose to eat sausages that were fried 4 times and served very hot. Yeah, like a very strange type of selectivity that they have. Yeah, and but it's very interesting. It's very important to start the intervention as soon as possible, I would say, because like most of the research even in ABA, it's about the children who are like 80% of research. It's about children who are from 0 to 5 years old, 92%, yeah. And only 8% are research about children who are 6 to 10 years old. So there is not a lot of information on how to work with older children or with adults. But I suppose that the methods are quite similar. So you can work with this. I've worked with children who are 14 or 15 years old. It's much more difficult, but you can have small results. And this is team working. Is not just what the consultant says, is just how the parents are consistent in their strategies, how they are motivated, and what is the history of learning of their child. Uh, uh, um, so at the moment, most of the strategies that work with children with autism are almost strategies that have at their base ABA strategies of working. So what is the difference between ABA and other approaches? So for a person who doesn't know what is the feeding problem, yeah, they would say, oh, he's not eating vegetables, yeah, and topography, when he takes the vegetable in their mouth, or when they see the vegetables, they do a tantrum, they cry, they scream, they refuse to touch or to eat or any kind of similar behavior. From ABA point of view, it's important to identify what is the function of this behavior. So I will not go very deep in describing the functions of the behaviors, because this is a separate topic of discussions, and maybe it's necessary one day of discussion. Yeah, but the function, like the most important functions that are involved in this problem are escaping function. That means like you offer a child to eat tomato, let's say, and child starts to scream or cry, and you take your tomato back and you don't try it anymore, and you give him another type of food to eat. So the child is learning anytime he sees a product that he doesn't like, he cries, and then you don't give him this food. So this is one of the functions of the behavior. Another function of behavior is like the function is something that makes this behavior to last for longer time or for over the time. So another function is attention. So anytime when we try to give the child the food, he refuses to eat it and he tries to cry or to push it away. So we try to explain him, oh, please eat. That's, or we can say, it's not nice, don't spit the food. And all the verbal explanations, anything that we say, even if we have a scared face, this could be a reinforcer for this behavior. That's why when we think about how to implement the strategy, we must think what is the function, the most important function that maintain, and based on this to make a strategy how to work. And mostly 80% of the selectivity problems are based on the combined function, attention and escaping behavior. So that, I think this is why with older children it's much more difficult to teach to accept new behaviors, because they have a long experience on learning how to refuse the behavior. So if the child is 5 years old, he has, let's have at least only 5 years of learning this behavior. If he is 15 years old, he has 15 years of learning. It's like school and university all together, like studies of how to refuse the food. So it's not easy to work with older children. Like the strategies that are mostly used is extinction of the behavior of selectivity of behavior. So what does mean extinction? So extinction means that the behavior that were reinforced before are not reinforced anymore. So in our case, if the child learned to, if any time the child had opportunity to eat food, a new food, and he spit it back, or he refused it, or he cried when he was offered new food, and we stopped doing this. So stopping doing this is reinforcer. As extinction will be not to stop offering him new food. So, but how to do this? So, and this is very important, is together with parents, is to identify what are the best steps to teach the child to accept the food. And usually it's a combined strategy between extinction and gradual exposure to new food. And like one of the first steps will be giving the child opportunity to see the food and to accept the child to see the food next to him. Yeah. Then is to give him opportunity to touch this food without eating. And again, it's a gradual exposure. So you take data about this. So if you see that the child is even not accepting to see the rice next to him on the table, so this will be one target. So you have to take data on this and see, like every day when he sits at the table, you have the rice next to him, you don't ask him to eat the rice, and give him the food that he likes to eat, and to make him to be comfortable just seeing the rice. So the next step will be giving him opportunity to see this rice closer and to smell it. And again, if he's refusing, yeah, just give him 1 second chance to smell it, put it away, give him the food that he likes, and then trying on a daily basis or anytime you sit at the table to have these opportunities to smell. Yeah, and then if he mastered this target, like after 3 days, consecutive days, he's accepting this, or consecutive sessions, he's accepting to smell the food, you can go to the next step when he can touch this food with his lips without eating it. So again, this will be a next step when you will try to do it. And of course, it's very important to include in these strategies the reinforcement. So what is the reinforcement? And I think this is the biggest issue with teaching children, is that we don't have a proper reinforcer. And usually the reinforcer becomes a reinforcer by being children being taught this. He must learn to know that this is working as a reinforcer. Usually we say, oh, he likes chocolate, but this doesn't mean it's a reinforcer. He doesn't have experience on being exposed, like eating something or doing something and receiving chocolate, doing something or receiving chocolate. Like exposure to this free term contingency, like SG reaction, behavior, and reinforcement is a learned behavior. So the child must be exposed before this to this kind of learning and then starting food acceptance programs. Yeah, just going on about the steps, how to do it. We stopped at the step when we working with the child to accept to touch with his lips. Then the next step will be to teach the child to touch the food with his tongue. Yeah, and again, just touching a little bit to feel the taste of the food that he is exposed to, without pushing him to eat from straight away. And then the next step will be putting in his mouth a very small amount of food. If it's rice, could be one small piece of rice, and trying to eat it. And again, giving a big reinforcer for this. And then step day by day to increase this quantity of rice. Yeah, and the most important is to keep going, not to stop. If you didn't have a good experience the first few days, this doesn't mean you have to stop. You have to try every day, every time when you go to do the food training. And sometimes it can take 3 days, sometimes can take 1 week, sometimes can take 3 weeks. It's not an easy skill to teach the child. Yeah, if you have any questions so far.
I'll go to question, but before that, if you allow me, I mean, I wanna take a few minutes to summarize whatever you have said so far, I mean, in Bengali.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. যেটা কথা হচ্ছিল আলেকজান্ডার তারাসভের সাথে, আমি খুব সংক্ষেপে একটু সারমর্ম করতে যাচ্ছি, কারণ অনেকের কাছে ইংরেজি ভাষাটা কমফোর্টেবল মনে হয় না, তাদের জন্য বিশেষত। আশা করি সবাই বুঝতে পেরেছেন, তারপর আমি একটু সময় নিতে চাচ্ছি। সেটা হচ্ছে যে উনি প্রথমেই যেটা বলেছেন, আগে একটু বলে নিই যে আলেকজান্ডার তারাসভ একজন বোর্ড সার্টিফাইড এবিএ থেরাপি কনসালটেন্ট এবং উনি লন্ডনে কাজ করেন। আর আজকে আমাদের সাথে তিনি যুক্ত হয়েছেন মূলত কথা বলার জন্য ফুড অ্যাকসেপ্টেন্স নিয়ে, অর্থাৎ বাচ্চারা নতুন নতুন খাবার কিভাবে তাদেরকে খাওয়ানো যায়, যে খাবারগুলো খাওয়াতে পারি না আমরা অনেক ক্ষেত্রে, সেটা কিভাবে খাওয়াতে অভ্যস্ত করা যায়। আমরা জানি যে বাচ্চাদেরকে বিভিন্ন ধরনের খাবার দেওয়া প্রয়োজন, কারণ ব্যালেন্স ডায়েটের দরকার আছে, সব ধরনের খাবার দেওয়া প্রয়োজন, সেই জন্যই মূলত আজকের এই আলোচনা। প্রথমেই আলেকজান্ডার যেটা বলেছেন যে আমরা যে আলোচনা করছি, উনি যেটা আলোচনা করবেন সেটা সব বাচ্চার ক্ষেত্রে হয়তো সমানভাবে প্রযোজ্য হবে না, কারণ বাচ্চাগুলো আলাদা, একজন থেকে আরেকজন আলাদা, এই বিষয়টা আমরা জানি, আমরা প্যারেন্টসরা সবসময় জানি। তারপরেও আমরা আলোচনা করি কিছু তথ্য যদি পাওয়া যায়, কিছু কৌশল যেন আমরা শিখতে পারি সে কারণে। তো মূল যে কথাটা, বেশ কিছু কথা উনি বলেছেন, মূল কথা যেটা সেটা হচ্ছে যে আমাদের চেষ্টাটা বাদ দেওয়া যাবে না। আমরা যখন কোনো একটা নতুন খাবার চেষ্টা করব যেটা বাচ্চাটা খেতে চায় না, সেটা আমাদের বাদ দেওয়া যাবে না। তার আগে তিনি বলেছেন যে সাধারণত বাচ্চাদের যে ফুড সিলেক্টিভিটি, অর্থাৎ খাবার যারা পছন্দ করার একটা যে ব্যাপার, নির্বাচনের যে ব্যাপার, সেটা বিভিন্ন কারণে হয়ে থাকে। অনেক সময় রঙের উপরে, তারপরে খাবারের ধরনটার উপরে, অথবা এমনকি ব্র্যান্ডিং এর উপরে হয়ে থাকে, যে বাচ্চারা দেখা যাচ্ছে যে কোনো স্টিকি খাবার বা চ্যাটচেটে খাবার সেটা খেতে চায় না টেক্সচারের কারণে, অথবা বিভিন্ন রঙের খাবার খেতে চায় না। তো এই বিষয়গুলো আমাদের প্রথমে বের করতে হবে, এবং কৌশল বিষয়গুলো নিয়ে উনি আলোচনা শুরু করেছিলেন, এবং কয়েকটা কৌশল তিনি বলেছেন, যেমন একটা হচ্ছে যে তাকে ওই খাবারটার সাথে পরিচিত করাতে হবে। এমন যদি হয় যে একটা বাচ্চা সব খায় বা অনেক কিছু খায়, ভাত খেতে চায় না, তাহলে ভাতটা তাকে তার পাশে রাখতে হবে। সেজন্য সেই খাবারটা দেখে, যে খাবারটা সে খেতে চায় না সেটা যেন সে দেখে বা স্পর্শ করে, হ্যাঁ, বা সেটা গন্ধ পায়। অন্য তার পছন্দের খাবার সে খাচ্ছে, কিন্তু ওই খাবারটা যেন আস্তে আস্তে তাকে পরিচিত করা হয় খাবারটার সাথে। এরপরে যেটা বলছিলেন আলেকজান্ডার, যে তাকে খুব অল্প পরিমাণে সে খাবারটা দিতে হবে এবং আস্তে আস্তে পরিমাণটা বাড়াতে হবে। মূল যে ব্যাপারটা তিনি বারবার করে বলছেন যে আমাদের এই চেষ্টাটা বাদ দেয়া যাবে না, মানে আমরা থেমে যাওয়া যাবে না। যতই নেগেটিভ হোক ও যতটুকুই রিফিউজ করুক, আমাদের এটা চেষ্টা চালিয়ে যেতে হবে। এই ছিল মোটামুটি ভাবে সার্বিক একটা আলোচনা। আমরা প্রশ্নে যাব। প্রশ্ন যখন আপনাদের কাছে প্রশ্ন করার কথা বলবো, তখন আপনারা আপনাদের স্পেসিফিক আপনার বাচ্চাকে নিয়ে প্রশ্ন করতে পারেন। প্রশ্ন বাংলা বা ইংরেজিতে হতে পারে, ইংরেজি হতে সরাসরি উত্তর দিবেন। যদি বাংলাতে প্রশ্ন করো, আমি সেটাকে চেষ্টা করবো ইংরেজিতে ট্রান্সলেট করে ওনাকে দেওয়ার জন্য। Yes, I back to you, Alexander.
Yeah, thank you. So how to start the training? Yeah, some tips and what are the conditions that we need? I will say one condition you will translate, so it will be easier for you
Okay,
to
sure,
do this.
of course.
First of all, it's important to have a consultant or somebody who is experienced with feeding problems, who will observe what is your problem, what is the child's problem, and to observe this and to have a baseline data.
রাইট। উনি বলছেন, আলেকজান্ডার যেটা বলছেন, যে এই সমস্যাটা সমাধান করতে গেলে অবশ্যই একজন সার্টিফাইড, একজন প্রফেশনাল থেরাপিস্ট, অর্থাৎ এবিএ থেরাপিস্ট, তার সাথে কথা বলতে হবে, যেন তিনি তথ্যটা আপনি সঠিকভাবে নিতে পারেন এবং সেই বিষয়ে পরামর্শ দিতে পারেন।
Yeah, it's important to identify what are the functions of that behavior. Is escaping, is attention and escaping, or something else?
রাইট। এবং এটা ওনাকে বের করতে হবে যে আসলে কি কারণে সে বাচ্চাটা ওই খাবারটা, ওই পার্টিকুলার খাবারটা খেতে চাচ্ছে না। সে কি ওটাকে এড়িয়ে যেতে চাচ্ছে, নাকি এটা এক ধরনের তার অ্যাটেনশন বা সে মনোযোগ পেতে চায়, যেগুলো উনি আলোচনা করছিলেন প্রথম অংশে। এইটা তাকে বের করতে হবে যে কারণটা কি এর পেছনে।
Yeah, it's important to have a very clear time when the child is eating. If it's 3 times a day or it's 5 times a day, a specific hour for eating. So they must have this habit already.
রাইট। বাচ্চাটার খাওয়ার সময়টা, সেটা মানে ভালো মতো জানতে হবে। এটা তো আমরা জানি বেসিক্যালি যে বাচ্চাটা কোন কোন সময় খায়। এক কথা আমার ধারণা উনি যেটা বলতে চাচ্ছেন যে একটা রুটিন থাকতে হবে খাবারটা, এই যে তাহলে এই কাজটা করা সহজ হবে। ইয়েস।
Yeah, and this is one of the biggest problems because usually children, they have free access to food in the house. They can go anytime to the fridge, open the fridge and eat what they want.
বলছে যে এটা আমাদের খুব স্পেসিফাই করতে হবে, মানে নির্দিষ্ট করতে হবে খাবারের সময়টা, অনেকটা রুটিন করার মতো, যেটা আমরা আমাদের ট্রেনিং এও করছিলাম চৈতালিদির সাথে। সেটা হচ্ছে যে না হলে যেহেতু এখন বাচ্চাদের খুব ফ্রি অ্যাক্সেস থাকে খাবারে, যেহেতু বাসাভর্তি খাবার, তারা চাইলেই ফ্রিজ খুলে খাবার নিতে পারে বা অন্য কোথাও থেকে খাবার নিয়ে নিতে পারে, যেন সময়টাকে ফিক্স করতে হবে।
Yeah, it's important the child is hungry. Yeah, if the child is full of food, you cannot do any intervention. So it
Right.
needs to be a little bit hungry, maybe more than usually.
এই কাজটা করতে গেলে বাচ্চাটা যদি ক্ষুধার্ত থাকে তাহলে কাজটা করা সহজ হবে। মানে বাচ্চারা যদি মানে পেট ভরা থাকে তাহলে এই কাজটা করা এতটা সহজ হবে না।
Yeah, as I said before, it's important to have to identify what is the best reinforcer to use, because we'll give him, for example, to taste the food, and then we have to come with a big reinforcer with a big prize for the child. And like from my experience, we had as a reinforcer the iPad, because it was a big reinforcer, or
Yeah.
it was chocolate, maybe ice cream. With some children, we had Coke, or maybe chips, because this was the preferred thing. So you have to find all the time something to exchange for acceptance.
You mean the rewards?
Yeah, okay, it worked with specific children. I don't know, as I said, every child is very
ওকে ওকে
specific.
ওকে, রাইট।
Yeah.
উনি যেটা বলছেন যে এইখানে যেহেতু কাজটা যদি করাটা কঠিন হয়ে যায়, তাহলে ওকে ভোলাতে গিয়ে বা ওকে মানে কনভিন্স করতে গেলে রিএনফোর্সার বা রিওয়ার্ড কিছু একটা কি দিলে ও খুশি হয়, সেটা আমরা আমাদের বাচ্চা সম্পর্কে জানি, যে ও কি খেতে পছন্দ করে বা কি দিলে দেখা যাবে যে ল্যাপটপ, সরি, আইপ্যাড অথবা মোবাইল ফোন এটা ইউজ করতে চায়, ঠিক আছে, তা তুমি এটা খেলে আমি তাহলে তোমাকে এটা দেখতে দিব। মানে এরকম একটা কিছু ঠিক করতে হবে তার বাচ্চার পছন্দের জিনিসটা কি বা খাবার।
Yeah, but this means that all the reinforcer that we think we will use, he's not receiving in any time than food training. If you decided iPad to use and it's working as a reinforcer, you use only when he's eating.
এক্স্যাক্টলি, দিস ইজ ভেরি ইম্পর্টেন্ট। এটা খুব ইম্পর্টেন্ট একটা ব্যাপার যে যেই রিইনফোর্সারটা, যেই বিষয়টা যে আমরা ওর পুরস্কার হিসেবে ব্যবহার করব বা এটা দিলেও খাবে, সেটা হতে পারে ট্যাব, সেটা হতে পারে ফোন অথবা অন্য কিছু, সেটা যেন শুধুমাত্র এই খাবারের ক্ষেত্রেই ব্যবহার করা হয়, অন্য সব সময় না, তাহলে তার ওই আকর্ষণটা থাকবে না। ইয়েস।
Yeah, that's why with children who have already an ABA program, a very structured ABA program, is easier to do this, because they already know, do this and then you have this.
রাইট। এবং এই জন্যও বলছে যে এটা এবিএ এর মাধ্যমে করাটাই ভালো, বিকজ এই এবিএ তে একটা রিওয়ার্ড দেওয়ার বা রিইনফোর্সার দেওয়ার, এটা 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 একটা পার্ট অফ দিস, আই মিন এবিএ প্রোগ্রাম। সে কারণে এটার মাধ্যমে করাটাই ভালো। এবং তুমি শুরুতেও বলেছিলেন যে কিভাবে এবিএ মেথডটা অন্যান্য মেথড থেকে আলাদা, সে বিষয়টা এক্সপ্লেন করেছেন। জি,
Yeah.
ইয়েস।
Yeah, it's good to start with food that is not very solid, and it must be a little bit softer, as, I don't know, some porridge or soups or bananas, something very soft.
এমন কোন খাবার যেটা খুব একটা শক্ত খাবার না, মানে ও যে খাবারগুলো খেতে চায় না, আপনার যেটা টার্গেট যে আমি এই 3টা খাবার বা 5টা খাবার ওকে আমি খাওয়ানো শেখাবো, তার মধ্যে যেটা সলিড না, ঠিক আছে, একটু নরম জাতীয় খাবার, সেরকম একটা খাবার দিয়ে শুরু করাটা ভালো হবে।
Yeah. Again, it's very important to know what is the age of the child, because based on their age will be an adapted strategy. Yeah, as I said, all the strategies that are described usually are for children who are not older than 10 years old. Yeah, so the age is very important.
ও যেটা বারবার করে বলছে, এর আগেও বলেছে যে বাচ্চার বয়সটা খুব ইম্পর্টেন্ট, খুবই জরুরি। কারণ গবেষণা দেখা গেছে যে 5 বছর বয়সী বাচ্চাদের ক্ষেত্রে 22 বছর পর্যন্ত বাচ্চাদের এই ফুড অ্যাকসেপ্টেন্সের কাজটা অনেক বেশি ভালো হয়, কিন্তু তারপরেই আস্তে আস্তে এটা কঠিন হয়ে যায় তুলনামূলকভাবে, এবং 10 বছরের উপরে এটা খুবই কঠিন হয়ে যাবে, এবং গবেষণা তেমন কোনো ডেটাও নাই। সে কারণে মানে এর ব্যাপারটা, কারণ ওরা একটা কথা এর আগে উল্লেখ করেছে, যত বয়স হবে বাচ্চাটা, তার মানেটা কি, যে সে এতগুলো বছর ধরে এই অভ্যাসটা কিন্তু ক্যারি করে যাচ্ছে, এই অভ্যাসটাকে পরিবর্তন করাটা ধীরে ধীরে আরো কঠিন হয়ে যায়। ইয়েস, ব্যাক টু ইউ।
Yeah, it's very important to know what are the health problems that the child has. If the child has problems with like pancreatitis, like this type of problem, so it's not a recommended strategy to teach the child to eat vegetables or raw fruits. Yeah, this is very bad for their health. Or maybe they have some teeth problems or maybe kidney problems. So this is very important to know because then it's not an ABA problem, it's a health problem that must be sorted before this.
বাচ্চাটার হেলথ হিস্ট্রি, ওর যে মানে ওর যে শারীরিক সমস্যার যদি কিছু থেকে থাকে সেটা জানাটা খুব জরুরি, কারণ অনেক ধরনের শারীরিক সমস্যাতে অনেক খাবার আছে যেগুলো দেয়া যায় না। তো যাকে দিয়ে আপনি কাজটা করাবেন, অবশ্যই উনি সার্টিফাইড হলে তো অবশ্যই উনি যদি প্রফেশনাল হন উনি নিজেই জানতে চাইবেন, বা এই ব্যাপারটা তো আপনারাও সাবধান থাকবেন যে তার বাচ্চার ক্ষেত্রে এই খাবারগুলো খাওয়া নিষেধ। যদি উনি না জানেন তাহলে ওনাকে জানাতে হবে যে আমার বাচ্চা তো এই কারণে এই খাবারগুলো দেওয়া যায়।
Yeah. It's very important also that parents must be involved completely in solving this problem and to be consequent and consistent in the in teaching the child to eat new food. And as an example, yeah, you can say, and then I'll tell an example.
Yeah, sure. এই পুরো প্রক্রিয়াটা থেকে বাবা মাকে সংযুক্ত থাকতে হবে পুরোপুরি, এবং লেগে থাকতে হবে, যেটা বারবার করে আলেকজান্ডার বলছেন যে লেগে থাকতে হবে, কাজটা মানে বাদ দেওয়া যাবে না।
Yes, as an example, it was a child who would accept eating sausages that were fried 4 times, and after like one time fried and then peeled and then again fried and then again peeled and then again fried, and then the child will eat them only if they are very hot.
Yeah.
And for me, it was interesting how the child learned this because he's not able to fry these sausages. The parents taught him to eat in this way. Mm-hmm. So, and then we tried to teach this child to eat the sausages like all other people are eating sausages, and he would accept at some point to eat these sausages. But then again, we will have the same problem. And we realized that parents will do different than therapists are doing. The therapist will try to teach child to eat properly sausages, but parents at home will give sausages as they did before and didn't solve the problem.
Right. মানে ওটা উদাহরণ হিসেবে একটা কথা বলছেন যে একটা বাচ্চার ক্ষেত্রে এমন হয়েছিল যে থেরাপিস্ট যেটা বলে দিচ্ছেন সেন্টার থেকে, প্যারেন্টসরা সেটা বাসায় গিয়ে ফলো করছে না। সসেস খাওয়ার কথা একটা উদাহরণ হিসেবে বলছিলেন যে অন্যরা সবাই যেভাবে সসেস খায় সেভাবেই থেরাপিস্টরা শেখাচ্ছিলেন, কিন্তু দেখা যাচ্ছে যে বাসায় গিয়ে প্যারেন্টস অন্যভাবে ফ্রাই করে দিচ্ছে বা বারবার ফ্রাই করছে, এবং সেভাবে খুব বেশি মানে ফ্রাইড এবং খুব গরম খাবার যেটা থেরাপিস্টরা সাপোর্ট করে না সেরকম দিচ্ছে। তাতে কি হচ্ছে, আলটিমেটলি কোনো কাজ হচ্ছে না, কোনো রেজাল্ট আসছে না। তার মানে থেরাপিস্টদের কথাটা ফলো করতে হবে, প্যারেন্টসরা যেন সেম প্রসিডিউরটা ফলো করে আসে।
Also, because of this food selectivity, and children usually they accept to eat only pasta or only like food like bread. They'll eat a lot of carbohydrates, potatoes, maybe meat. And most of the children, they have the problem like obesity. They are overweighted. So this is a big problem. So, but this is also because what they eat and how much they eat. So one of the advices here is not to be scared if child didn't eat one day. Yeah, it's not a big issue. Yeah, because eating eating is an instinct. You cannot survive if you're not eating.
Before I go for, translation, Alexander, this is really difficult to convince mothers specifically.
Yeah, and grandmothers.
Right, if there is, grandmothers, right? Yeah, of course. Like they are more protective, like more, yes. Right? Okay.
And this is a big problem because if, like, and I suppose in Bangladesh and India and Pakistan, also in my country, like of origin, because I'm from Soviet Union country, like for us, food is a very important part of our life. Yeah. So, and it's very, like for grandmothers especially, it's very important that their grandchildren will eat as much as possible, and they will run after them with spoon to feed them as much as possible. Yeah, this is
So
a big problem.
we actually live to eat, not eat to live.
Yes.
Yes, right. আলেকজান্ডার যেটা বলছিল যে আমরা সাধারণত যেটা হয় যে আমাদের বাচ্চারা বিশেষ করে বিশেষ চাহিদা সম্পন্ন বাচ্চারা, এখন সাধারণ বাচ্চারাও যাদের সমস্যাগুলো নেই, ওবেসিটি খুব বেশি কমন একটা ব্যাপার, মানে বাচ্চার ওজন বেড়ে যাওয়া, হ্যাঁ, ওভারওয়েট হয়ে যাওয়া, এটা খুব সমস্যা, বিশেষ করে কার্বোহাইড্রেট প্রচুর খাওয়া হয়। সুতরাং এখানে ও বলছে যে দুটো ব্যাপার ইম্পর্টেন্ট, একটা হচ্ছে যে কি খাচ্ছে, কি খাবার খাচ্ছে, যেটা যেটা ওর বলছে যে কার্বোহাইড্রেট পরিমাণ বেশি, আর একটা হচ্ছে কত পরিমাণে খাচ্ছে। তো ওটা ওকে মজা করে বলছিল যে আমাদের দেশগুলোতে, ও যেহেতু মানে ও বাংলাদেশ, ইন্ডিয়া, পাকিস্তান, এবং ও নিজে হচ্ছে সোভিয়েত ইউনিয়নের একটা দেশে, এবং এইসব দেশগুলোতে আমরা খাবারটাকে খুব এনজয় করি এবং খাবারটা পার্ট অফ লাইফ, এবং মা এবং দাদা দাদিরা, নানা নানি, তারা খুব মানে খাওয়াতে পছন্দ করেন, সেটা একটা ব্যাপার। এই ব্যাপারটাই সাবধান হওয়াটা প্রয়োজন। So you think, Alexander, that maintaining the optimal, I mean, weight is also very important for children?
Yeah, I think this is one of the main problems that I found on adults with autism or older children with autism. They're overweighted, and usually they are bigger than all other peers of their age, because they eat a lot, most of them.
True.
So don't be scared if he will not eat one day. And we had a child, for example, or an example would be, we had a child who didn't accept it to eat soups. Yeah, because again, in some cultures, it's very important to have this kind of liquid soup at lunchtime. So as in my country. So the child didn't accept it. Parents were thinking about training over 1 year. They wanted, but they wouldn't try to work on this problem. So after 1 year of working together, they said, okay, let's try the strategy. And like, in order to increase the motivation for the child to eat without pushing him too much, is to be sure that he is hungry. So with that child, he didn't eat 1.5 days, but then he accepted easily the soup, just without pushing him too much. Just the first spoon was a little bit by giving him opportunity to taste it. And because he was hungry, he tried and said, oh, that's nice. And he asked for more after that. And then every day he will ask again and again. Let's say most of the children, they don't know that what they offered are much better. Yeah.
ও যেটা বলছে বারবার বেশ কয়েকবার একটা ব্যাপারটাকে সে মানে বলছে যে খুব ইম্পর্টেন্ট ব্যাপার হচ্ছে যে বাচ্চার ওয়েটটা খুব ইম্পর্টেন্ট, ওয়েটটা মেনটেন করতে হবে, তার ওজনটা যেন তার বয়স অনুযায়ী থাকে। কারণ অনেক বাচ্চা প্রচুর খাওয়ার কারণে তার বয়সী বাচ্চাদের তুলনায় তাদেরকে অনেক বড় বড় মনে হয়, এবং সেটা তার বিভিন্ন ধরনের শারীরিক সমস্যা হতে পারে। আর একটা জিনিস হচ্ছে যে এই যে নতুন খাবারে অভ্যস্ত করতে গিয়ে যদি এমন হয় যে বাচ্চা না খেয়ে থাকে, এক বেলা বা দুবেলা না খেয়ে থাকে, তাহলে বাচ্চা মারা যাবে না। ও যেটা বলছে যে একদিন না খেলে বাচ্চা মরে না, এটা মাথায় রাখতে হবে। মানে এই কারণে কথাটার উদাহরণটা বলাটা মরা বা এই শব্দগুলো আসলে জাস্ট একটা উদাহরণ বোঝানোর জন্য কথা। বিষয়টা এরকম যে এমন হয় যে না, ও ওর পছন্দের খাবার খেতে চাচ্ছে, হুইচ ইজ আনহেলথি বা ঠিক হচ্ছে না, কিন্তু ওইটা না দিলে সে খাবে না, জিদ করছে। এমন ক্ষেত্রে আমাদেরকে ধৈর্য ধরতে হবে। এবং ওর উদাহরণ হিসেবে বলছে যে এরকম হয়েছে, যেরকম ক্ষুধা লেগেছে, তখন সে বাচ্চা খাচ্ছে এবং সে তখন আগ্রহ করেই খাচ্ছে। Yes.
Yeah, I have some videos, but unfortunately I cannot show them, and they cannot be copied to be shown later on YouTube or other social media.
Yeah.
But yeah, unfortunately, because you can see how were a few steps on trying to teach the child to eat fruits, for example. Yeah, and there are described few, like all the steps that I've told you, they can be seen there. Yeah, and again, as I said, it's very important to have somebody who is experienced to supervise the work of teaching you how to accept food.
Yeah, sure.
It's very important.
So can we go for questions now? We have some parents with us, right?
Yeah.
So if anybody has question, আপনাদের কোনো প্রশ্ন থাকলে প্রশ্ন করতে পারেন এখন। আমি তো মোটামুটি আমরা একটা আইডিয়া দিয়েছি যে আমরা কি নিয়ে আলোচনা করছি বাংলা এবং ইংরেজিতে। আপনাদের কোনো প্রশ্ন থাকলে আপনাদের বাচ্চা সম্পর্কে করতে পারেন।
ভাই আসসালামু আলাইকুম।
ওয়ালাইকুম আসসালাম।
আমার ছেলের যে সমস্যাটা আমি ফিল করি যে ও কলাটা তো খাই না, এবং কলাটা দেখলে কিছুটা কিছু খাবার আছে না যে মানে ভেতর থেকে একটা অস্বস্তি লাগে, গায়ের মধ্যে ঘিন ঘিন করে, যে ব্যবহার করা হয় আর কি, এই টাইপের সিচুয়েশনটা করে। কিন্তু কলাটা তো খুব প্রয়োজনীয় একটা খাবার। এটার ক্ষেত্রে আমি কিভাবে ইয়ে করব?
আর কোনো ফল খায়? অন্যান্য ফলগুলো খায়?
অন্যান্য ফলের মধ্যে যেমন কমলা লেবুটা পছন্দ করে, অরেঞ্জটাই খায়। তাছাড়া আপেল বা শক্ত জাতীয় কোনো ফল তো খাই না, কিন্তু কলাটা দেখলে ওই যে খায় তাকেও গায়ে ধাক্কা দিয়ে সরাই দেয়, এরকম করে। মানে ওর ভেতর থেকেই মনে হয় জানি একটা ইরিটেশন ফিল করে ও।
ঠিক আছে। We have a question from a parent, like her son doesn't like to have banana. Now this disliking, I mean, she feels kind of detesting, I mean, banana. She cannot, I mean, he cannot stand it. Even some other person eating banana in front of him, something like that. He likes orange, but he doesn't like any other, I mean, the kind of hard fruit. And but about banana, he's completely negative. Any way to teach him how to eat banana?
Okay, how old is the child?
He's like, বয়স কেমন এখন আপনার? 5 বছর না?
5 বছর, জি জি 5 বছর।
5 years.
5 বছর।
Oh, it's not too late. Yeah. Okay. I think if the banana is the worst thing, like let's say it's something that is the most unlikely that the child will eat, we must find something that he is not as aversive, and to start with, not to start with the most undesired thing. If you know that it's easier for him to accept porridge or any kind of food, it's a little bit easier. So it's better to start with something that is a little bit easier, not with something that he has already a very clear refusing behavior, even not to see it.
But anything specific about banana? Because she is convinced that banana is very important for her.
Okay, like with steps that we had it, yeah? Okay, what is the child doing when he sees the banana?
I mean, he's like, yeah, he make a face. I mean, and he even doesn't like other people eating banana. He just takes it away or pushing like this.
So this will be one of the steps. So somebody is eating banana, even not offering, having a decent distance from him, like let's say 3-4 meters, and starts to eat banana. He doesn't like, he tried to cry, you just eat banana. Yeah, you are not doing anything wrong. But this is a very important behavior to teach the child, is to accept something in his environment. And I don't want to come to a moment when the child is not a child anymore, and he's in the restaurant or he's outside of the house and he sees somebody eating banana and he will make a big tantrum. This is why I should work on this.
So you mean that, you know, somebody will intentionally eat banana, keeping a distance from him, just to show that this is all right having banana. This is the normal thing, and this is the fruit.
Yeah, this is one of the steps. You are not teaching him to accept banana at this moment to eat, but you found the bigger problem. The child at the moment is even not accepting to see it. So that's why on the steps when I was describing is to see what is the state of the problem. Some of the children are okay to see it, are okay to touch it, but are not okay to taste it. So then you'll start from tasting. In this case is to start the child to accept, to see this, to accept that other people will eat it. Yeah. And again, when he starts to cry or do any behaviors, is not to react to this as, oh, stop, don't cry, is everything all right? Anyway, is everything all right? You didn't do anything wrong. Why the child should do this? And let's say usually after 1 or 2 or 3 exposures like this, child will stop screaming and crying when he sees somebody eating. And then you can go to another step to come closer and closer until he will taste it. Yeah. And again, it's good that you eat a piece of banana and then he accepts it, but you give him something that he likes to eat. He likes oranges, yeah? You ate a piece of banana, he starts to cry, but you give him orange. Like, oh, you have your orange. Like, it's not like banana is like orange, like pairing the presence of banana with orange.
Kind of playing with him, right? Teaching through play.
Yeah, I didn't describe any other strategies. There are also other strategies that we can combine in here. And one of them is having other children who are eating, if the child has some imitation skills, so you can use other children to be next to the child and to eat this. And this will be an imitation activity, and he will learn from imitation if child is able, or even adult will eat and that he is learning from the adult. Another way is to have video models, is to make a video or to show him a video how others are eating. Some children are learning better from the video. Yeah, and of course, sometimes you can blend the food a little bit. If he has some problems with taste of orange, but he is okay with taste of banana, you can add a little bit of orange and to make a kind of drink that accept the taste.
Thank you so much. আপা উনি আমি সংক্ষেপে বলে দিই, মনে বুঝতে পেরেছেন, তারপরে বলছি যে উনি বেশ কয়েকটা কারণ উপায় বলেছেন, কৌশল বলেছেন। একটা হচ্ছে উনি বলছেন যে যে খাবারটা খুব অপছন্দ করে, যে ফ্রুটটা অপছন্দ করে, যেমন বানানা, এটা দিয়েই শুরু করতে হবে এমন কোনো কথা নাই, ওকে অন্যান্য ফলও দেয়া যেতে পারে। তামান্না আপা শুনছেন, আছেন আপনি?
জি ভাই, শুনছি।
আচ্ছা, আরেকটা জিনিস হচ্ছে যে আপনি এমন করবেন যে ওর থেকে একটু দূরত্বে কেউ দাঁড়িয়ে কলা খাবে, ওকে দেখাবে, এটা বোঝানোর জন্য, এটা যে খুব নরমাল একটা ব্যাপার, ঠিক আছে? ও হয়তো কান্নাকাটি করবে, যদি চিৎকার চেঁচামেচি করে তাহলে সে কলাটা চেঞ্জ করে আবার অরেঞ্জ খাবে, ওকে দেখানোর জন্য। মানে এগুলো উদ্দেশ্যটা হচ্ছে ওকে ফ্যামিলিয়ারাইজ করা, ওকে পরিচিত করানো, যেটা কোনো এর মধ্যে কোনো খারাপ কিছু না, এটা খুব নরমাল একটা ব্যাপার, এটা একটা ভালো খাবার। অথবা ওর মতো বাচ্চারা যারা কলা খায় তারা ওকে দেখিয়ে দেখিয়ে খাবে কলা। অথবা আপনি কিছু ভিডিও করে ওকে দেখাতে পারেন, দেখো কলা খাচ্ছে, খুব মজা করে খাচ্ছে, খুব ভালো একটা খাবার। বুঝতে পারছেন? না, আপনি এইভাবে শুরু করতে পারেন।
আচ্ছা আচ্ছা, না এটা মানে শারীরিক কোনো সমস্যা কিনা আমি সেটা
না
এখন
না না,
ভাবি।
মানে অ্যাটলিস্ট উনি বলেন নাই শারীরিক কোনো শুধু কলা খাবে না, এটা আমি তো আর এক্সপার্ট না, এটা শারীরিক কোনো সমস্যা হওয়ার কথা না। I mean, Alexandra, do you think that it is related to any health issue that he refuses to eat like banana, or is behavioral?
I don't know the child. I don't know what is there, but let's say it doesn't have any issues. Like usually banana is a soft food.
Yeah.
It doesn't create any problems when it's chewing. Even if he is not chewing and just swallowing.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a big problem. Yeah. But
I think, can I say something?
Yeah, sure, please.
I think some children don't like the smell of the banana. That can be another issue.
Smell.
Yeah, and that's why we have to expose the child like on regular basis to this smell.
The smell, yeah, we need to make them familiar with the smell, I think. Yeah. That will be best.
Like as I said, the strategy of prevention is one of the strategies is extinction. As I said, we offer the child something, or we present the child something he doesn't like, he starts to cry or to push you away. And extinction is, you are not taking this away, you are not hiding this, you are just keeping somewhere to be seen, or as you presented. This is extinction. And we must know that there is one, let's say, part of the process of the extinction. When we do this the first time, the problem behavior will be very high. So if before he did a small crying and we removed the banana, he was okay. Now, if you are not removing the banana, he will cry, scream, he can do a big tantrum. So we must know that this can happen. Usually this happens. So this is called extinction burst. So we have to do it consistently. We did it once, he cried, but you didn't hurt him, you didn't do anything bad. After 5, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, he will stop crying. Yeah. And then you go to the next step, closer and closer, and you shouldn't be scared of this. Yeah, because as I said, from my experience with children who and parents who accepted to work with this, they had big problems. They were spitting. Sometimes they'll get sick when you give him the new food. And then over the days, over the weeks, they starting to accept everything else. It's the most difficult to teach the child the first three types of food, and then it's much easier.
Right. আর কোনো প্রশ্ন আছে কারো?
I have one query.
Yes, please.
If the child is eating a lot, what will be the steps we need to follow regarding that? Means mainly her intent, she is 15 years. Sometimes she wants to eat and eat and eat, and I can feel that she is full, still she wants to eat. Sometimes it is because of keeping me engaged with her, and sometimes she wants to eat just to finish that food. There are several behavior issues with her as because she's a high functioning girl. What I can do in that case, please, sir?
Yeah, sometimes, okay, that's why it's important to see the child, to see all the child's environment. Sometimes this can be a problem that has as a function automatic reinforcement, like the child or the person has a positive reinforcement just from eating. Yeah, it doesn't matter how much just eating, it makes them to feel very good. Usually this also can be because this is one of the type of engagement that they can have with their parents. They don't have other alternative activities. They don't know what to do with their time, and they know that they can eat, but they don't know what they can do as an alternative. But here it's like a more complex strategy, but as an idea could be also to make a visual schedule of the day and to show, like, to start with morning and until the evening, and to start like in the morning you do this, then is breakfast, then again you have 1, 2, 3 activities, then is lunch, and then to make this visual support. If the child is high functional, you can add the hour, like you will eat in the morning at 9 o'clock, you will eat at the lunchtime at 12 o'clock, you will eat your dinner at 6 o'clock in the evening. And this must be done on a daily basis. Of course, the first few days you can have big problems because child was used to eat anytime he wants. Yeah. So you have, in this point, you have to engage the child in any other type of activities to make him busy, and then just to do as you planned based on visual schedule. And again, as I said, it's important to have the child already exposed to some learning based on using reinforcement and ABA strategies. Yeah.
Okay.
Again, yeah, it's very good to have like a clear time when the child is eating, and like with some children was very helpful to use a visual support, and like now it's time for eating only.
Okay. And what if she don't want to eat with her hands because she don't like the textures, means the food is little bit wetty, and touching with hands it's makes her irritate, she feels irritated by touching the foods. In that case, how I will make her familiar to touch the foods, means using sensory, like messy play and all these things.
Yeah, so this could be as 2 different programs for a child. One of the program will be to teach the child to accept some textures, not just related to the food. It's just to accept to put head on something wet and give a reinforcer, or to accept something that is soft and to give reinforcer. Again, exposing to basis based on clear plan and on clear targets that was established. And then maybe to work on food. I know usually in as a tradition, you eat rice with hand, for example, I suppose, and this is the problem. So if the child accepts to eat with spoon or fork, I don't think this could be a big issue. Maybe this is even better than eating with hand in some.
I can understand, but means, you know, her hands movement is not normal, you know, behave means she can't hold things properly. She cannot flush the water on her face due to the due to her fingers. Her fingers are not like us. She is having some.
Does she have any other additional problems than autism? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, she's intellectual disorder child.
Does she, because
she is normal in like means normal physically she is normal,
okay.
but her hands are, you know, that we can move our hands according means how we are giving the instruction from our brain, and we can কি বলবো এটাকে মুঠো বাঁধতে পারি মুঠো খুলতে পারি আজকাল ইংলিশে ভুলে গেছি ভাইয়া can you help me out?
I don't hear you.
Hello
Sayed, you stopped your microphone. Turn on the microphone.
Hello
hello
yes Ishrat, can I help you?
হ্যাঁ আপনি ওই যে বলেন তো হাত মুঠো করতে পারা হাত খুলতে পারা
cerebral palsy সিপি বাচ্চা
না না ও ইন্টেলেকচুয়াল ডিসঅর্ডার বাচ্চা ওর হাতের মানে যে ঠিক করে মুঠো করতে পারা বা পেন্সিল ধরতে পারা গ্রিপিং এই জিনিসগুলো ওর নাই তো ওই
her child has problem with gripping and, you know, making the fist, I mean the hand movement and the movement of the fingers. So the way we need to, like, you know, eat by hand, you know, we need to move our fingers to, you know, take our food, or like, you know, that's not possible for her. I mean, she finds this difficult.
That's why usually when we start a feeding program, this is not the first program that we start to work. We work on different skills with the child, and then we feel confident that the child is ready to accept some negotiations, is ready to keep the spoon independently in his hand. Then we start with feeding problems. And usually the program, like an ABA program, will be based not just on one problem. We will teach child all type of skills that a child needs. And we will start to work on fine motor skills, on gross motor skills, on cognitive abilities, on visual abilities, on self-help skills, and you work on them all the time. So you start with the most easiest thing to teach the child to use his hands, and then gradually you increase the difficulty of working with hands. So of course, with many children, they are not able to hold a pen. So when you teach the child to write, so you start with the most easiest thing, like with a thick pen, just small dots on the whiteboard, and then you increase gradually the targets until the child is ready. So with many children, when we started, when they were young, let's say 5 years old, they weren't able to hold something in their hands. They will not be able to do something. So, and even an occupational therapist will come and say, oh, we don't know if this can be sorted out or if the child will be able to do something. But after 2 years of intensive working, of at least 10 hours a day intensive working, now the child can write cursive. Yeah. So 2 years ago, he wasn't able to hold anything in his hands. Now he's 7 years old, he can write cursively. So this is not an easy target, but that's why I'm saying it's a very important before starting the feeding, to working on feeding problems, is to see what is the overall picture of all the problems. Where is the problem? Is holding spoon, is chewing, or something else? Yeah.
Sure, right. Apa,
yes, sir. Thank you very much.
I have one question, I mean, which is very similar to some extent similar to Ishrat's question about my son. He's 9.5, and he has problem with rice, as you know. So as Tamanna, I mean, she was talking about like banana problem. My son has a serious problem with rice. I mean, he's eating all other food items, but about rice, I mean, whenever he looks at rice or if he even touches rice, he feels like, as if it irritates him or he hates him.
And I want to add something. He doesn't like, for that reason, he doesn't like any kind of foods which are white in color.
Yeah, it could be.
That's my wife, actually. That's why she adds the
Hi.
things, right? Yeah, I mean, white color food, he doesn't like. Now, when somebody feeds him rice, even that time, he doesn't feel comfortable. Like he just, if you just put rice in his mouth and he immediately swallows. Doesn't like to keep it in his mouth. Now,
does he do this only with rice or he does this also with other food?
Shoma, শুধু rice নাকি অন্য খাবারের সাথে করে?
No, any other fruits also.
Fruits?
He doesn't like fruits also.
No, কিন্তু খাবার আচ্ছা, rice and fruits basically.
But yeah, as you said, you have to find now the step where to start. If you said that one of the steps is he's even not accepting somebody else eating this, so you have to start from this step.
No, he doesn't mind if somebody else eats rice in front of him. That's not the problem. The problem is he doesn't.
No. He doesn't like anybody who is eating rice also.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Same thing as you said. Sorry. Yeah. I mean, he doesn't like, even he doesn't look at rice, doesn't like to look at rice or white color food.
Let's start then to think about I'll give you a few questions. Yeah. So can you describe the last time when you had this problem, how you reacted? What did you say? How the child reacted? Like you tried to eat rice together in the same room. How it was? When it was last time?
Shoma.
Sorry, I missed it.
মানে ও যদি তোমার সামনে ওর সামনে তুমি খাবার খাচ্ছো, রাইস খাচ্ছো, ও তখন কি করছিল লাস্ট টাইম?
Last time he accepted me, but if I keep a plate or on his table, he doesn't like it.
What is he doing?
He will throw the plate.
Okay, and what did you do then? What did you say?
So I stopped keeping the rice plate on the table right now.
Yeah, so what happened? You removed the problem. As a result of him throwing this, you removed the rice from the table. So he learned every time he doesn't like something, he pushed it away, pushing away,
yes.
Throwing it away, then nobody will try it again. So he learned the behavior. So now will be one of the steps is you put as far as possible on the table. Okay, just a suggestion. As I said, it's a more complex strategy, and it's not very professional what I'm saying now because I didn't see this. I didn't make any plan. But let's say because you live every day, you can make some small changes and to see how to approach this. So you can put your plate on the table away from him, and even if he wants to take it away, you try to protect the plate. Don't say anything. Don't do anything. Just protect the plate on the table. Yeah, and he will try. He will see it's not working. You gave him his preferred food at the same time, and he at one moment he will stop doing this and he will go. Yeah, just don't let him to throw it away, and don't remove it from his view. Would be kind of but it's better if I will, for example, I will see how this you are doing. I will see what is the real problem and how you react to this. Because if you do a scared face or you look at him and say no or shh, this could be again something that can be a reinforcer for his behavior. It's kind of game. Let's call it a game from child's point. Yeah.
Right.
Okay, thank you so much.
We can do another thing, sir. We can eat in front of him and make him feel like it is so tasty and he is missing it out, isn't it?
Yeah.
We can eat it.
Yeah, could be like one of the steps, but not all the time this strategy will work, because not many children have very good imitation skills. And maybe, as I said, with some children, if an adult is eating, this is not a good model. But if there are another child that he likes, and he eats this, it's more probably he will try. With some children, this worked very well when we had another child that is a very good friend, let's say a child that he feel confident in his presence, then that child was a good example, and they were eating from the same plate. So every child is very, very different. With some of them is working, with some of them is not. It's just to understand the function, how it works. As I said, you shouldn't, if the child doesn't accept it just from, and he doesn't have any other physical or any other allergy problems, so then the child must learn to accept the food at least on the table, and then closer, and then to see how he is touching it, and then to try it, and to teach the child to negotiate to accept food.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Thank you so much. Any other question? Ar kono proshno ache karo?
Hello, hi.
Hi.
Yes.
Hi, my name is Shamima. I live in London, and my son, he's 6 years old, but he has a problem. Just he ate a selective food like rice, vegetable, chicken, milk, and he didn't take any other food. So I want to introduce him like a bread, fruit. He doesn't like any fruit, but I don't know how can I do it. And in the school, I give pack lunch like rice, chicken, but I don't know how long time the school will arrange this food, because it should be put on microwave. So I want to introduce like bread, chips, potato chips, like a biscuit, but he never touch any food.
As I said, let's say personally, I should see how everything happens, to be able to give like a proper recommendation. But let's say I'll tell you as an example. At the school with one of the children, we worked on a food selectivity or a food problem. So it was a child who at the lunchtime in the school, he will have a packed lunch.
Yes.
He will eat only from the packed lunch. He will have a sandwich and yogurt and a chocolate. So what happened? Like I was at the school. I was asked to go to the school and see how this happens. So the child was sitting, going to the table, and then taking the yogurt, eating the chocolate, and then of course he will not accept to eat sandwich because he's already full of all this sweet food. So what we changed, first of all, we try to negotiate with the child. Try a little bit of your main food, like sandwich, just a small piece, or at least, as I said, we started with a very small step to touch it with lips, and then I'll give you a spoon of yogurt. Then again, touch it again with lips, and then again, a little bit of yogurt. And then increasing the steps by giving him a small piece of sandwich, and then he will accept it. But in our case, at the end, we found that the problem was, one of the problems was that he learned to eat only the sweet food and not the main food at the school. And secondly, again, he had problems with taking this sandwich in his hands. So we changed totally the way how we will present the sandwich. We cut this sandwich in small pieces, and with fork, he was eating with fork. Like in 1 week, this child was eating already the main food in small pieces, and then yogurt and chocolate at the end. Yeah.
So you told me that I should put bread with rice. Try.
No.
Because he only eat rice and chicken. He doesn't eat another thing. I want to introduce him bread or something I can carry when I went outside, because I can't took rice everywhere.
Yeah, I'm not saying to mix, but maybe this could be also a method. Maybe this could be also, but here is to try to negotiate with the child. You have the something the child likes. Yeah, let's say, what does he like?
He like rice, boiled rice and vegetable mix.
Yeah, is he crazy for this?
Yeah, he's crazy.
Okay, you have the rice, a bowl of rice. You have a piece of bread. Like one of the steps, for example, could be, as I said, don't take this as a pill. It's just some recommendations. Yeah, for a proper program, you need more clear view what to do step by step. But as a sometimes only one step can be helpful. Who knows? So because it's matter of time. So then you have a piece of bread, you have the rice, and then even if he doesn't like to touch it, you give it by how to say, like touching the food that he doesn't like, a kind of very quick and by accident, even he is not realizing what happens. You give him, you touch the food on his lips, taking him away. He doesn't have how to say, time to react to this. And then you give rice. And then again, try a little bit, and then again, rice. And then to try to teach him, look, the bread and rice, they go together, and trying bread, you will have rice. Yeah, then. That's why, unfortunately, I cannot show videos. I have few videos that are showing the first stages when the child is refusing totally, like pushing it away, crying, I don't want it, and then just touching by accident to his lips. And then at the end, he's eating independently and he is asking for it again.
Okay.
So, yeah,
okay.
But again, this strategy is better to use at home, not at school. Yeah, because at school, nobody will try about like safeguarding issues or any other issues. And again, is not the most pleasurable activity that you can do with a child. Sometimes it looks not very nice when the child is spitting the food and there are a lot of other children around. It's better to do this firstly at home and then to try to do it at school.
Okay, and what about fruit? How can I introduce fruit?
Like, again, it's the same like any other kind of food, but it's better to start with something that is soft, like bread is quite soft. Yeah, with bread is not very difficult. Yeah, depending what kind of bread, if it's pita or kind is even better, not a very dry bread. And then fruits, you have to choose maybe better something that is soft in small pieces. You cut in small pieces and just giving him to taste it. Like strawberries, soft, also can be tried. A blueberry is also, you cut the blueberry and just put in child's mouth. Sometimes, like when describing the strategies how to do it for children who are younger, you mostly use two strategies. One is like with physical guidance. You give, like, child doesn't want, and you give him in his mouth quickly and then giving reinforcer. Or another strategy is non-removing of the food. Like you put the food next to a child's face, you have the preferred food and say, okay, you must taste it and then you will have it. And then like waiting 5-10 minutes until he just taking his own decision to taste it a little bit to get access to the food that he likes. And here is the most important to be very calm. Yeah, to be very calm, not to be scared of some behaviors. As I said, yeah, because many people are scared of these behaviors. And that's why I said with younger children is easier, and you can do this type of intervention more easily than with older children who knows what to destroy.
Okay, thank you.
I have another question. While introducing one food, can we try another new food at the same time, or I will make him means first I will introduce one food, then when he will adopt that, then I will try the next food.
yes, that is better to do this way, one food at a time to teach the child.
Yeah, otherwise, altogether new textures and new tests will confuse the child, I think.
Then you don't have enough opportunities
Yeah.
to give the child, to expose him to new food. If you decided to teach child to eat banana and you gave him in the morning banana and then you tried apple and then in the evening you tried pineapple, so child has only one opportunity during the day. So if you started with banana, so banana is in the morning, at the lunchtime, in the evening, and then the next day is the same until he is getting familiar to this food, and the resistance is going lower and lower to this. Yeah. It's very important to have one food at one time. But when the child is learning that to accept food from you, 1, 2, 3, 4 types of food, then it's more and more easier to to teach him to accept new food. He understands that, oh, everything that you offer is not as bad as it can be. But let's say food acceptance is not only about food, it's about to teach the child how to react when he doesn't like something. Also is teaching child to accept some medicine, like I don't know, if you have a treatment, you need some pills, you need some
liquid
child to make something. So my question is, and this will give you you to think about the strategy that you are using. For example, if your child is sick of something and your doctor advised you to give him specific type of syrup or syrup, what did you do in your experience?
I push him. Otherwise, no new item he can took easily.
Yeah, and he took it.
Yeah, he took it.
So one of the advices, it's good that you said, one of the advices in working with children, and especially like smaller children, when you teach him new food, is something similar to look at the food like being something prescribed by the doctor. Yeah, like banana is a pill that is prescribed by the doctor. He must take it. Yeah, but the only thing that you have to change it is to make dose of quantity that you give him at the beginning. You can't give him just all the banana to eat until he will get sick. You give him a small piece of banana. And the most important, even with syrup or all these things, after he took this, gave him something that he likes. Or if he is crazy about iPad, show him then 1 minute or 2 minutes of the cartoon that he likes, or give him to play, and then take it away and try it again as you did with syrup. And you do the same. Like, this is quite similar, just because if it's food, it's very important, but people don't think about food like it's a medicine. That's why.
Yeah, but it's a very nice idea, and it's a new concept for me as well. I never thought it like that.
Let's say it's if you would look if somebody will look at you, somebody will say that oh, this is not human, you abuse the child, but nobody will tell you when you do this with medicine. So but food is like a medicine. All the vitamins, all the energy that he receives for his life is from food. This is a kind of medicine for our children.
Yeah, when we are giving some bitter taste syrup, we always prefer to give some sweet to replace that bitterness. That is how we can replace what. It is very nice idea, sir. Thank you.
Yeah,
it's actually the reinforcement, I guess, right?
Yeah.
So, Alexander, I will ask you one question. As Shamima joined us from London, now she has the, opportunity to see you there in your center because you are living in the same city. But what about others? As you said that what we are talking today, we are like, these are all about overall suggestions, or this is not specific because you didn't see the child, you don't know the whole history, and when you want to make a complete plan, you need to know about the child. Now, if anybody want to have online appointment with you, is that possible from anywhere in the world?
let's say I didn't like, honestly, I didn't have any experience on working on feeding problems being online.
Okay, okay. You basically do it in center.
Usually when we work on this problem, we see this. Like I'm trying to see this as much as possible to try to show it by myself how it works. Yeah, and again, it's much easier when you have a child who is already in an ABA program and has already experience of following some instructions. Again, if the child is not able to understand, sit down, stand up, where is the spoon? So it's more difficult to teach the child to eat.
Of course.
But like my let's say, as an example for me was my grandfather, who gave me the first lesson about food acceptance when I was a child.
Okay.
So because during the summer, my parents will leave me at my grandparents for 1 or 2 months. Yeah, so they will be able to work because of my holidays. So the first few days, I will be very selective in my food, like any other child who is going in a new place. Because my grandparents were living in a village, they had totally different type of food. For example, they have boiled potatoes with cheese and butter, yeah? Or I don't know, some boiled peas with raw onion. So it's not very tasteful after the food that I had at my home. And even my mother she was a chef. She will cook a very nice food, nice roasted food. So this for me was not very desirable food. Yeah. So I came to the table and I said, oh, I don't like it. I don't want it. So, and my grandfather said, okay, it's your choice. They ate the food. Then they took everything that was finished. They took and put it in the fridge. And then nothing else was available. That was in the morning. So in the afternoon, they came again. I was a little bit fussy. I didn't want to try anything. I wanted to take bread. I said, no, you have to eat. If no, it's your choice. Go and play if you want. It's your choice. So in the evening, I tasted that food and it was really, really nice. So at the moment, honestly, this is my favorite food in my life. All the simple type of food that I ate in the village with my grandparents. So again, I was saying, is not to be scared if the child didn't eat too much. Okay, yeah, it's your choice at the moment, and you will eat even if he will not accept easily in the evening because he didn't eat anything in the morning. So tasting the food will make him to accept it a little bit easier than if you try it when he's not hungry. So yeah, and my grandfather, he survived the hunger. So he was telling me how they were eating any kind of food when they didn't have any other food. They ate grass or any kind of weeds. Yeah. So that's why I'm saying food selectivity, it's a kind of our choice or our problem of our life now. We have too much choices.
Right, yeah, right. And sometimes it becomes a luxury as well when we have like a lot of options.
Yeah, another suggestion is in order to have less behavioral problems and easier to do an intervention is to not have too much choices at home, to have in the fridge just 1 or 2 choices and that's all. Not to be able to change the food that we're trying to teach the child with something else. Yes. And the child will not be able to find something else in the fridge.
So being consistent is also very important.
It's one of the most important things.
Yeah, right. Any other question? আর কোনো প্রশ্ন আছে কি? না হলে আমরা সেশন শেষ করব। কোনো প্রশ্ন আছে কারো?
হ্যাঁ, আমার একটা প্রশ্ন আছে।
জি। বলুন। আপনার ইয়েটা মাইক্রোফোনটা
আমার ছেলে হ্যাঁ বলছি যে আমার ছেলে ও মানে প্রচন্ড টক যেটা আমরা খেতে পারছি না কিন্তু ও খেয়ে ফেলছে আবার মানে চট করে খেয়ে ফেলছে সেরকমই আবার লঙ্কাটাকেও মানে প্রচন্ড ঝাল লাগছে তবুও ও মানে লঙ্কাটাকে নিয়ে খাচ্ছে এরকম এটা কি কোনো প্রবলেম?
ওর কোনো প্রবলেম হয় না এগুলো খেলে মানে লঙ্কা বা এগুলো খেলে?
না
Okay, another question. I mean, from Shroma Devnath.
Talk.
তবুও
ও খেয়ে ফেলছে, আমরা পারছি না খেতে।
বুঝতে পারছি। Okay. So I mean, her son is like eating extremely sour food, okay, and extremely hot, and even green chili. He's eating, and he doesn't feel any problem. While the adults, I mean, his parents fail to eat them. Now, how to stop it? I mean, anyway.
Yeah, it's the same strategy. We had few children who would accept only very hot food in terms of the temperature of the food. But we decided to work on this because it makes some problems, yeah, with teeth. If he's eating very hot food, teeth started to be, how to say, to have many, yeah, he can lose the teeth, the child, over the time because of very, very hot food. So yeah, we gradually started to expose the child to different type of food, like any other type of food, with a reinforcer, yeah, with a good reinforcer. And it was interesting, usually as a reinforcer was, yeah, the same food that he likes. If it's hot food, he's crazy about hot food, yeah, we'll give you this type of food and then a little bit of hot food. This type just to taste it, and then again hot.
And green chili, she mentioned green chili. He's like green chili, like anything.
It's too spicy, I think you can.
Yeah. Again, we must see what are if the child doesn't have any other problems. Yeah, I suppose the child could have any other problems related to this, and maybe it's about the kind of self-stimulatory behavior. Yeah, it's.
So do you think she should discuss it with some therapist, like occupational therapist, or?
It's good to know more information about the child. What is he doing in other times? What are his skills? What is his free time? And based on this, also to see how to implement. And how old is the child? Yeah, as I said.
4 বছর 5 মাস।
আচ্ছা, উনি যেটা বলতে চাচ্ছেন যে ওর আসলে আরো তথ্য লাগবে ওর সম্পর্কে, একটা কিছু বলতে গেলে যে ও ফ্রি সময় কি করে, হ্যাঁ, আর অন্য কোনো সমস্যা আছে কিনা। আর একটা জিনিস অলরেডি বলেছেন, সেটা হচ্ছে যে অন্য খাবার ওর সাথে সাথে ইন্ট্রোডিউস করতে হবে, যেরকম
হ্যাঁ, অন্য খাবারও সব রকম খাবারই খায়, যেমন তেতোটাও খাচ্ছে, সব রকমই খাবার খায়, খাবার দিকে অন্য কোনো সমস্যা নেই।
ওর টেস্ট বাডের সেন্সটা কাজ করছে না, যেটা ডাক্তারের সঙ্গে কনসাল্ট করতে হবে।
আপনি কি চাচ্ছেন যে ও মানে এভাবে মরিচ খাওয়াটা বন্ধ করুক, বা এটা চাচ্ছেন আপনি? এই তো ব্যাপারটা।
হ্যাঁ, না, যেটা মানে এত টক আমরা খেতে পারছি না, তবু সেটাও খেয়ে ফেলছে।
আর ঝালটা কেউ কাঁচা মরিচ খেয়ে ফেলছে নাকি?
হ্যাঁ, খাচ্ছে, ঝাল লাগছে তবুও আবার খাচ্ছে।
No, I mean,
Sir, I am thinking that he's not having that sense of means what we are tasting with our taste bud. He don't have that connectivity with his mind. That is the main problem with the child.
You mean sensory problem, like sensory issues like this?
It could, like, let's say, of course, but how old is the child?
4 years, 5 months.
Oh, it's not very old that he's already eating this type of food.
Yeah, that's why they're surprised that, I mean, the food that the parents don't dare to eat. I mean, he keeps.
Yeah, let's say it's I'm thinking about the consequences of eating for a long time a spicy food. So after eating this type of food, you don't feel the taste of other food.
True.
So it's about adapting, yeah? So his mouth now is adapted to that type of food, and he will not feel the taste of another type of food. So I think if you don't have any other food, like you give him rice, but without, like my children, for example, they will not eat green chili pepper, because I don't have it.
Okay.
So if you don't have it at home, he will not eat the green chili pepper.
এমনিতে বলছি, আমার ছেলে কিন্তু সব রকম খাবারই খায়।
না, উনি বলছেন যে যদি এমন হয় যে আপনার বাসায় গ্রিন চিলি রাখবেন না, থাকবে না, ও দেখতেই পাবে না, পাবে না, তাহলে কি খাবে? তাহলে কোথায় কিভাবে খাবে?
আচ্ছা আচ্ছা।
মানে উনি একটা
কিছুদিন
কথা
অ্যাভয়েড করতে হবে, টক আর গ্রিন চিলি জাতীয় জিনিস বাড়িতে আনাটাই অ্যাভয়েড করতে হবে। যদি ওর অন্য টেস্ট বাড মানে টেস্ট বাডটাকে ইমপ্রুভ করার জন্য আর নর্মাল ফুডে ইন্ট্রোডিউস করার জন্য এই জিনিসগুলোকে, যেগুলো খুব স্পাইসি বা খুব টক, এই ধরনের জিনিস বাড়িতে আনাটাই বন্ধ করে দিতে হবে।
সোমা, আমি আপনাকে যেটা বলতে চাচ্ছি যে আসলে আলেকজান্ডার খুব স্পেসিফিক আপনাকে কোনো সমাধান, যে একেবারে আপনাকে সমস্যার সমাধান দিয়ে দিবে এটা পাচ্ছেন না, এই কারণে যে বাচ্চাটা সম্পর্কে আর মানে জানা দরকার বা ওকে দেখা দরকার নিচ থেকে বা কাছে থেকে বেশি। তো আমরা এটুকু যেটা জানতে পারি এই সেশন থেকে, সেটা যেটা ইশরাত বলছিলেন, আলেকজান্ডার বলছিলেন, যে আপনি এটা করতে পারেন, হয়তো এক সপ্তাহের জন্য করতে পারেন, যে ওর সামনে আপনি রাখবেন না গ্রিন চিলি, যদি বাসায় আনতেই হয় লুকিয়ে আনবেন, ওর সামনেই রাখবেন না, বা ওই টক জাতীয় খাবারগুলো দেখিনও কি করে। আস্তে আস্তে তো এটা ডিউরেশন, যদি এমন হতে পারে ভুলে যেতে পারে এগুলো, পরে আপনি আবার নিয়ে আসবেন ফর এক্সাম্পল। হ্যাঁ, এটা কোন কিছু একটা হতে পারে। আর কোনো প্রশ্ন কারো? I said 1 hour. It's running like 1.5 hours. Alexander, I'm sorry for this. We'll go for question answer. It takes time.
No worries.
Any other question?
সাইদ ভাই, আমার একটা প্রশ্ন ছিল।
বলেন।
যে আমার মেয়ে মিষ্টি জাতীয় জিনিসটা খেতে পারে না, যেমন পায়েস, আইসক্রিম, তারপর ওই যে মানে লিকুইড খাবারটা ও খেতে চায় না। এটার জন্য কি করব? লিকুইড কোনো খাবারই ও মুখে নেয় না এবং মুখ গিলেও না
যেমন যেমন
লিকুইড খাবারটা।
একটু আইডিয়া, মানে একটু আইডিয়া দেন কোন লিকুইড খাবার?
পায়েস আছে, আইসক্রিম আছে।
না, লিকুইড খাবার কোনটা খায় না?
মানে এই যে বিভিন্ন ধরনের পায়েস বলেন, আমরা ওই যে যেটা বলি ক্ষীর বলি, তারপর সেমাই বলি, তারপর এই যে আইসক্রিম, বাটি আইসক্রিম গুলো আছে, এইগুলো মানে এইসব জিনিস খায় না। যেমন হ্যাঁ, যে হালিম টালিম করলে এগুলো খেতে চায় না। আর ও মিষ্টি জাতীয় এই জিনিসগুলা মিষ্টি মানে কখনোই মুখে দেয় না, মুখে দিলেই ফেলে দেয়।
মিষ্টি জাতীয় জিনিস খায় না?
না, এমনিতে বিস্কিট টিস্কিট খায়, কিন্তু কখনোই সে একটু সেমাই খাবে না, দুধ জাতীয় কোনো মানে পায়েস খাবে না। তারপর এই যে আইসক্রিম, বাটিতে আইসক্রিম দিলে সেটা খাবে না।
Another question, I mean, Romana's daughter, I mean, she doesn't like to have any kind of sweet,
Semi-solid food.
Any kind of sweet dishes, maybe made of milk, rice, sugar, or ice cream. He doesn't like to have at all. So, I mean, why? She's taking other foods normally, but any sweet dishes, homemade or ice cream, she doesn't like.
Semi-solid food.
Semi-solid kind of food. I mean, not very solid, not liquid.
Yeah, it's if this is not related to any other health problems, like milk could be a problem for some children. Or if there is not a problem with this, it's the same approach like with medicine, we said. Yeah.
We do discuss, yeah.
You try it a little bit every day, like 3 times in a row, like with 3 meals, with a small portions and with reinforcement. And if the child is not very old, this could be done a little bit easier. Yeah, but think like as a medicine, I'm saying, like this is a good.
I mean, she needs to familiarize the child with this kind of food gradually, giving like portion by portion or every day, regularly.
Yeah, the child, like, let's say the child now learns every time he sees the ice cream, for example, he starts to scream. Yeah, even touching or scream or cry. Yeah, this is what the child learned. He even doesn't, like, again, with feeding problems, with food acceptance, like the most important is not to make the child to eat that food, is to make the child to be able to taste any kind of food.
Exactly.
Yeah, this is very important. Yeah, and again, it's some of the children have very objective, how to say, reasons to say no to some food. Yeah, because some, like cheese. Yeah, some people will not feel the smell of cheese who is almost old. Yeah, some of them will feel. So this is a kind of it's very important. That's why it's very important also before giving the child is to taste by yourself this food. Yeah,
True.
Taste to see if it's okay, and then give the child opportunity.
রোমানা উনি যেটা বললেন যে একটু একটা ব্যাপার থাকতে পারে যে ওর কোনো মানে দুধের ব্যাপারে কোনো অ্যালার্জি আছে কিনা, এটা তো শারীরিক ব্যাপার, এটা হয়তো টেস্ট করে জানতে হবে। বা এটা যদি না হয় তাহলে উনি আজকে যে আলোচনায় যে বারবার যেভাবে যে স্ট্র্যাটেজির কথা বলেছে ওইটাই ফলো করতে হবে, যে অল্প পরিমাণ দিতে হবে, ওর পাশে হয়তো ওর পছন্দের একটা খাবার রাখতে হবে, সেটা কিছুটা দিতে হবে, এটা কিছুটা দিতে হবে, এভাবে আস্তে আস্তে ওকে এই খাবারগুলোর সাথে পরিচিত করতে হবে, ধীরে 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 পরিমাণটা বাড়াতে হবে। এটা ছাড়া আর
আমি
কোনো মানে বারবার
একটা কথা বলবো।
ইয়েস প্লিজ।
হ্যাঁ, ও মিষ্টি জিনিস যেহেতু সেমি সলিডটা খেতে পছন্দ করছে না, ওর সঙ্গে একটু চানাচুর ওপর থেকে দিয়ে দেওয়া, বা একটু মানে চিড়ে ভাজা, যেটা একটু সল্টি চিড়ে ভাজা ওপর থেকে দেওয়া
যায়। যে
হ্যাঁ,
যেটা ধরেন
যে ওই
এক কথায় রোমানা, যে ও যেটা পছন্দ করছে আর যেটা করছে না, এই দুটোকে কম্বাইন করে ওকে ইন্ট্রোডিউস করা, যে এই খাবারটা দেখো এটা খারাপ কিছু না, এটা মজার, এবং আস্তে আস্তে বাড়াতে হবে সেটা।
চিড়ে ভাজা টিজে দিয়ে দিলে আমরা অনেক সময় খুব মিষ্টি হয়ে গেলে কিন্তু একটু সল্ট মিলিয়ে খেতে পছন্দ করি, তো ওই জিনিসগুলো দিলে আই থিংক ইট উইল হেল্প।
Yes. Any other question?
Thank you, Saiful.
Sure. Shoma, Kaziatia, any question? Anybody else?
No, thank you so much.
Okay, Alexander, thank you so much for your time and explaining everything so beautifully. I mean, you have anything to say at the end to the parents?
Yeah, like I would like to address to parents and tell them to be consistent in what they do. Yeah, and to start as soon as possible to solve the most important problems of their children. Yeah, is to think, and the most goal is to make our lives all together, and children's lives and families' life like a peaceful life, to make it as a peaceful life. Yeah, and don't be scared of sometimes if the child is crying, if there is no serious reason, like if the child didn't hurt himself and did a crying because it's changed the light, is the change of the light in the room or the change of the smell. Yeah, you should learn how to react to this. Yeah, to be more calmer and just keep going, keep going, keep going. Yeah.
উনি যেটা বলেছেন আমাদের প্যারেন্টসদের উদ্দেশ্যে যেটা বলেছেন, যে আমরা যে সিদ্ধান্তটা নিব বা যেটা আমরা করতে চাই সেটা করার ক্ষেত্রে খুব কনসিস্টেন্ট থাকতে হবে, অর্থাৎ আমাদের লেগে থাকতে হবে, ছেড়ে দেওয়া যাবে না। আর বাচ্চা যদি অনেক সময় না খেয়ে থাকে বা চিৎকার চেঁচামেচি করে, সেগুলোতে আমাদের উত্তেজিত হওয়া যাবে না, মানে শান্ত হতে হবে, ওর চেয়েও শান্ত হতে হবে বেশি, যেন যেন ও যদি এই হিসাবে না নেয়। কারণ বারবার যেটা বলছিল যে আমরা যদি রিয়াক্ট করি তাহলে ও ধরে নিবে যে এটা করলে তো ও রিয়াক্ট করবে, মানে তাহলে ওর জন্য সুবিধা হয়ে যাবে, ও পালাতে চাইবে, ওই কাজটা করে অ্যাভয়েড করতে চাইবে, সেটা করা যাবে না। এটি আর কি। Alexander Tarasov, thank you so much for your time. We took a long time actually. I promised you to finish within an hour, but I'm sorry, I took almost double. And I know you are a very busy person and working different places, and thank you very much for your time. And from Special Child Care, we are trying to bring the professional from around the world to our parents, to us. I'm also a parent. So thank you very much. And we hope you will be with us in future as well. And you will advise us, in different fields. As you have said, that very important issue you are dealing with, like sleeping disorder, food acceptance. And these are very daily life issues that we are going through. So we hope that in future, if you have possible, we'll give some other time with more sessions.
Thank you for inviting me, and yeah, I wish you good luck. I really hope that it's helpful, at least 10% what I said.
No, it was really helpful. We got a lot of guidelines and guidance, and actually it gives us more courage to go forward, as you said, that being consistent. And yeah, because when we speak a consultant like you, and certainly, I mean, we are much more, now knowledgeable, as well as brave enough to go forward. So
yeah,
thank you very much.
Motivational. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, and see you again with another session in future, hopefully.
Thank you.
Please
Bye.
take care, stay safe, because we know that Corona is getting worse in London. So we pray for you, pray for everybody, all, living over there. Please take care and stay safe.
Thank you. Thank you.